Welcome back to Terebelo Podcast Tuesday, where we discuss starting up a business. The last podcast we discussed LLC, getting an LLC. There's obviously two options. There's an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, and you will discuss it or do your own homework. That said, let's move on to your first month in business. You're going to be a little excited. There's going to be lots of extra expenses. I can tell you what I did. I built my own website, obviously using WordPress. It's more difficult than using Wix. It's cheaper. I'm a big believer in staying as cost, bottom lining it as much as possible. Let's just assume that if you're starting your own business, you're short on cash. If you're not, then you're listening to the wrong podcast. I mean, you might have what to learn, but for the most part, that's what our emphasis is on saving our money. So I learned WordPress, endless YouTube videos, and I'm like, okay, I got in business, I got my bourbon, let's go. We're going to need coupons for discounts and promo codes, gift cards, and every one of these is another plugin. For those that don't know, let me just explain to you what that means. A simple WordPress site is you go to DreamHost, you install DreamHost. Maybe I'll actually put it on a link to DreamHost on my website. I do make $50 if you use my referral. I don't know how many people are actually going to watch this video, and that's obviously not my source of income. But it's nice. It's always nice to be appreciated. You go to DreamHost, open up an account, and you pick your domain website, and then you install WordPress. Don't use the DreamPress. All those actually cost even more money. WordPress is an open, it's I forgot the word for it, but basically anyone can create a program that works with WordPress and sell it. So those programs that work with WordPress are called WordPress plugins. So, and you also have to have themes. Now, the reason why I recommend DreamHost, I'm not the only one that sees this, so my friends saw this, everyone sees it, is they're fantastic. Their service reps, if you have any questions or anything, just go straight to DreamHost and message them, and they will walk you through whatever your problem is. So it's a fantastic host for your website, and fantastic service for the beginner to get used to. So there's no reason to be afraid. There's no reason to use other options. Just go to DreamHost. It will take time. There's a learning curve with WordPress, but then again, we're all cash strapped at this stage of the game. So you get your WordPress set up, you get your themes up, and you've created enough tension and shul that you've actually sold a product or two or three, and you think, hey, listen, this is my big day, my big cash out. Look, I'm just talking from experience. And you buy more plugins. For example, you buy a plugin for coupons because you give coupons to relatives, gift cards because you're sure the entire world will be gifting your product, and each one of these plugins costs you $50 to $100, and then you announce your release on LinkedIn and social media, and no one's coming. This could go on, it could take a week, but 2 months, but the general view is that when you start off a business, it's like a new exciting shiny object. And then after a set amount of time, people move on. Your focus, what you're going to have to do is pivot, is on the returning customers. Now, to be fair, when I started out, I actually collected name spreadsheets for an entire year. So I had, I think it was like 240 customers. But I learned pretty quickly that most of those customers bought the bourbon, simply because they wanted to, support me, help me start out, which is a beautiful thing, and I've actually started trying my best to live up to that. I felt very complimented, but they're not your returning customers. So when you make those initial phone calls, it's a mistake that I made, I'm sorry, and you should learn from it, is identify which one of those are real clients. For example, with bourbon, there are people that are real bourbon drinkers, and they truly enjoy a good bourbon, and I had to weed them out, and I'm sure I missed some of the 240 of my clients, of my friends, or the spreadsheet that I collected, that would come back and buy more. So do that when you make a phone call. Say, hey, can I ask you a question? I know you're buying this bottle. I really appreciate that you are purchasing it. I don't really care if you're purchasing it, or obviously you don't say it like that, but you say, look, would you like me to call you upon when I release further products? Look, no harm. Look, you don't have to buy it. I'm very grateful for the customer, and be upfront. Say, you're very new with this, you're very new in sales, and just, give me some direction. To be surprised how honest people are, and it's something you're going to appreciate. So now, you've gotten through your first round of sales. Hopefully you have some type of bookkeeping system. I didn't. I tried my best with spreadsheets. You got to get. You don't have to get anything. Don't spend money that you don't have at this point, because you got to put all the money back into your business. If you're product-based, service-based, I guess you don't have to. I've never been in the service-based industry to tell you that. Now you're up to round 2. You could continue with direct sales, marketing, right? But it's really up. You have to move on to onto more of an organic growth. How to get that? You could bring in, passion from stores. You could bring in, but how do you get a store on board? Remember, stores are very tricky. Retail space, it's not like you could go ahead and it's not like the internet that you could go ahead and just put another item in the store. You rent a shop for $1,000, $2,000, really, even that's a little $4,000 a month. You have 1,000 square feet, you're paying $4 a month per square foot. You want to get, as a shop owner, they simply want to get the most out of their space. So it's a tricky thing, because they're not going to put a losing item for sure, and even a not so profitable item. Say, for example, you're selling shoes. Actually, let's give you a live example. My Sefer, Road Trip in Lacham, I have a book that I published. It sells at $3 an item, and it's 8 by 11.5 standard paper size. I got news for you. How much does it sell for? $3. Like the store tells me, we're not going to carry such a book. Not because we don't like it, we love the book, but we have retail space, and we got to sell in that space where that book's going to be. 10,000 of your copies to make what one real book. Obviously, mine's a pamphlet form of 10-15 pages. We got to have in that area. We could have a book selling at $20 on the same display, and that's netting us each sale $10. Which brings us to the next step. When you do direct sales, you're pocketing the whole thing, minus your sales tax, obviously, and there's the back end stuff. But for the most part, you're pocketing all the money. All of a sudden, comes to retail, you could lose even more than half, depending if you have a distributor, which could be a great idea. We'll discuss distributors at a later point. But they're taking such a sizable amount of money. It's quite tempting to undermine yourself. You go ahead, you put in the stores, but then someone calls you up and says, hey, I want to buy your bourbon, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. So you're like, come to me, because you make 35% more. For example, if I sell my bourbon to the store at $100, they usually mark it up 40%, 35%. That's standard markup for a store. You're making much more money when they come directly to you. You sell for $125. However, with that, you're undermining your store. The stores, remember, the stores have to, and they have this down to science. They have X amount of retail space. They need to turn for each space a certain amount of money a month, or even whatever it is, a week. However, they decide to do their bookkeeping. And if they can't, if it's not generating their revenue, you will then go ahead and lose that space, which means it's more profitable for you to send someone to the store to buy the bottle often over you going ahead and doing the direct sale. Alright guys, thanks for listening. Business with Terebelo week 2. Looking forward to next week. Thank you, and don't forget, enjoy your Terebelo.